When we first start those resolutions, we can just jump right out of the gate and feel some enthusiasm. Things might actually work for a couple of weeks. We feel like, okay, something's actually going to change here. And then things start to peter out. We fall off the bandwagon and it starts to feel frustrating again. So whether you made some New Year's resolutions with your family and now things are kind of starting to feel a little sticky with them, or you just know that you need a change and you're feeling like, I want this to be sustainable, but how? This video is for you. So how do we actually make changes and resolutions stick? Well, my mom always said that the things that happen naturally are what really have staying power. That's why I think a lot of resolutions end up being unsustainable, because they lack the power of attunement with human nature. And that's the piece we're going to draw out in this video. So what I've observed works well when harnessing the power of human nature to make resolutions really stick is to think like a gardener. So for example, if you're thinking of New Year's resolutions, you can go through the process of imagining yourself and your family like gardeners and think, what would gardeners be doing this time of year? And whether or not it's January and we're talking New Year's resolutions or we're just beginning a change, we always think of the beginning stage as like the winter season. So this time of year, think about what would gardeners be doing? When I look outside right now, nature is not doing a whole lot of activity on the surface. That's because January is the time when the earth is resting and gardeners are reflecting. This is the time to choose seeds, compost what we're done carrying, and then to intentionally build the garden plan. For resolutions, this means that this is the time to get clear on what is no longer serving us, choose what we're grateful for in our life, and then make a plan to nourish that this year in a way that will actually fit our real life. I want to teach my kids that this process, taking the time for reflecting, visioning, and then planning before jumping into work on those big ideas, is so much more sustainable in the long run, and that's what makes it so much more fulfilling. So let me show you how we do this in our family and give you some ideas for how to do it with kids of different ages. This time of year, my garden is quiet and our family is circling seeds in the catalog. We're picturing what we want to grow in the coming season. That's how I want resolutions to feel in January. Introspective, spacious, honest. This season gives us a window to notice what's been taking up space in us and what we want to cultivate next. That makes the resolutions so much more powerful. So we begin our process with reflection to clear prompts. For kids, reflecting can look like journaling, but it can also look like drawing, storytelling, or just answering one simple question at dinner. I'll walk you more specifically through activities like this with guidance for each age group in the Align to Thrive course, and I will link that in the description box below. So when you're tailoring this process to kids, the most important thing I've found to think about is the executive functioning and the ability to reflect, look into the future, and then set goals from that reflection and future visioning is a skill that's developing all the way through childhood from a young age. So the important thing here is to keep it feeling fun and engaging and give it enough structure that they can really latch onto it as they go through their different developmental phases, so that they develop the habit early on of enjoying thinking about these things and enjoying the process of planning and goal setting. So I have found that the absolute best starting point for this introspection is gratitude. So we start thinking of what we are so grateful for that we just want to grow in the year to come. Some prompts that I use for older kids are, what were some highlights of your year? What do you want to bring into your life more in the year to come? And what do these things look and feel like? And then for younger kids, I ask, what are some of your favorite ways to feel? And often visuals help with this so much. You could get some pictures out of them doing different activities that they've enjoyed. I have a little chart. If you want, I will link my contact form below, and you can just email me there and I'll send you this chart that I use. And I just have her circle the different things that she's drawn to, like, oh, I want to feel excited. I want to feel respectful more this year. I want to feel more generous. So the things that she enjoys feeling and doing in life, then have her circle those things. And then what activities at school or with your family or with your friends help you feel these things that you like to feel and want to feel more of. And we also consider what it's time to shed through asking questions like, what's felt heavy lately? Or have we noticed patterns of how we interact with each other that we want to change? For the younger kids, I would say something like, when is a time lately that you felt frustrated or overwhelmed? And then let them figure out what were some of the things that they could have let go of that would help change the situation next time. Basically, we're asking, what are we ready to let go of? What are we ready to compost? After journaling, we move into vision boarding. I have some dear friends who actually lead a vision boarding workshop every year, and this is always so inspiring. They actually have an Artist Way series coming up for those who live in Asheville, so I'll link that below for you. This is such a great activity to do with kids because it helps them turn their reflecting into a visual representation of things they love about life and want to cultivate. So they've done their reflections, they've done their journaling or storytelling or drawing, and now they're really starting to make it tangible and look towards the future. When setting things up, nature magazines, inspiring kids magazines, and travel magazines are all really nice. And I've also gone through our family photos for the year and other inspiring pictures I find online and printed out pages for my kids to cut up and use in their collage. I especially encourage older kids to think about the ways they want to be and how to cultivate those qualities in themselves. So we do that for the kids as well when they're circling those different things in the chart. But for the older kids, I like to draw the connection between the things that you want in life and your actions. So considering, how do I cultivate these qualities within myself so that I will naturally attract friends and opportunities that bring me fulfillment? As my friends share in their workshop, it's not about making something perfect and polished. It's actually about letting yourself be drawn to things and not really questioning it all logically. They say just cut out anything you're drawn to or make some drawings or paintings on smaller pieces of paper and make a pile. Then you get to go through that pile and decide on the final pieces to put together for your board. What a great habit to teach kids of, just feel out all the things that you're drawn to and then learn how to discern what really rises to the top. So for little kids, one of your prompts may have been, what are ways you like to feel and what helps you feel this way? And then they can find collage pieces or even use the drawings that they made to create their vision board of all those things that help them feel great.
We made a vision board for our farm.
So making vision boards is so much fun, but what makes it truly fulfilling is teaching them this process that they learn how to execute again and again over time for bringing their vision boards to life. So now we're going to use the vision board to set some big goals for the year. So for example, for my board, I might say, the thing I'm actually drawn to the most is this term perfect fit. Because what it means to me is that I really want to serve people who are ready to transform their lives through exactly what I have to offer. So this year, what I'm calling in is that I want those perfect fit people to find me and then really benefit from my work. So a goal for me in terms of this perfect fit idea could be, maybe I want 500 YouTube subscribers to my channel by May 1st. And so it doesn't have to be super detailed. In fact, I would avoid trying to make it like a whole SMART goal thing, but just enough to where they can really tell when they've crossed that line and that goal's been achieved. So you can just ask them, well, what would be that moment where you could tell, all right, I reached that goal? So then, I just walk the kids, each one, through this same process, helping them come up with just one or maybe two goals. And the older kids might get really into it. They may go off and write more goals, and that's fine. I let them do it, but I just try to focus in terms of the next steps of the process on those top one or two goals and just encourage them to keep it simple, because the most important thing, right, is it's fun to have the visions. It's fun even to set the ideas, but the most important thing, very critical, not to be missed, is seeing it through. So step number one is writing down the goals. There are a lot of statistics that share how much more likely you are to reach a goal when you write it down and refer to it regularly. So we put our goals down in the Thriving Family Guidebook, although our older daughter has her own binder where she can keep track of her goals. So the number one thing is to write down the goal. So then it's time to move from goals to systems and habits. That's the part that is sort of the boring work that actually makes the exciting things happen. So let's say my older daughter has a goal of being ready to leave the house in the morning on time so that she's not rushed to get to school. That's a big one, right? So then we just brainstorm. We try to get 3 top habits that would really help that goal become a reality. So you might brainstorm a lot and whittle down, or you just might come up with those top 3. So maybe those 3 habits are setting out your clothes the night before, making sure your shoes are in their spot ready to go for the morning before you go up to bed, and maybe not having screens in the morning. So like just setting your phone aside and just focusing on getting ready. So whatever those first 3 habits are, we also write those with that goal in the binder. With such a good foundation laid now, we are ready to start bringing that vision to life. So the first step is simply to set up those systems. So if it's finding a spot where the shoes go, or it's creating a space where you can set out your clothes the night before, sort of those environmental systems or things like that that are going to help you maintain these habits. So next we decide on a start date for the first habit, and we just work through one habit at a time, getting it to a point where it's solidified for a week or 2 before trying to add in a new habit. And if adding that new habit in makes the first one slide, then maybe it needs another week. So what I have found for myself and my clients is that we really need to put a system of support around every new habit. It's so easy to say, oh, we'll just do it before bed and like I'll remember. But I really have found that the things that actually stick get put into the daily schedule, put into your block calendar, and even have alarms set to remember to do it, at least in the beginning, so that you can kind of slide this new habit into your life in a way that makes it stick. Without that, it tends to get easily missed and can't happen consistently enough to become a real sustainable habit. So that's our process. We think like gardeners to align ourselves with what human nature actually supports. We choose seeds whenever we're starting that new change, like that New Year's resolution time. We step back, we choose our seeds, we reflect and compost what needs to be let go of, and then we build a plan that actually supports our life, and then we put in the systems that bring it to fruition. So remember, with kids, keep it playful, keep it visual, keep it light, because the point here is that we are building the habit of building habits and helping them just get into the process of taking their visions to goals and into actions and systems. Now I'd love to hear, what seeds are you cultivating in your family this year? It helps so much to just get it out there into the universe. So drop it in the comments below and I will be cheering you on. So if you could use a little bit of guidance on helping your family have more harmony, helping with those routines and those systems for your kiddos in a way that actually gives you more peace and ease in day-to-day life, be sure to check out my Align to Thrive course in the link below. All right, that is everything. Here is wishing you a healthy, happy, and vibrant week ahead, and I'll see you next time here in Cloud Dojo. Bye.